Hello, hello. Welcome to Executive Talk. My name is Maurice Washington. I'm your host. I want to welcome everybody that's here watching online, also those that will watch it later on, and also those that are here in our studio audience. We just finished a series called Success Unspoken. Obviously, with Success Unspoken, where we're talking about success and the effects that it has on business owners, both good, bad, and positive, and how can we work that around. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about goals. And today's topic is called Goals Meet Resolutions. With goals, this is that time of the year where we're always discussing what is our next step, what does next year look like, and we have a whole plethora of questions that we have for ourselves, and it all circumvents around goals and also resolutions. So what I want to do with this particular topic is I'm going to go in a particular direction. That direction I hope to actually make you guys uncomfortable. So if you're watching online and if you're watching later, I hope that you get uncomfortable on some level. But through that uncomfort, what I would like for you guys to do is drop your wall down. Because there may be some areas that will touch you personally, that will help you move through. And those areas that hopefully touch you personally will help you take it to the next level and move through. So let's go ahead and get into this particular topic. So as we approach the new year, here are some of the phrases we're all used to. I'm going to change this. It's time to do a vision board. Okay, so a vision board, for those that don't know, is when you grab a whole stack of magazines, you start cutting out, your lifestyle that you want. You start cutting out a boat. You start cutting out your favorite vacation place. You cut out the brand new car. Okay, that's your vision board. You get all excited. You get so excited you get two boards, and it's just so big. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, per se. And here's another statement that you'll see during this time of the year. I'm going to do everything different than what I did last year. Has anybody ever seen that on Facebook? Or has anybody said that to themselves? Okay, those are typical statements that we say year after year. Now, my question is there a problem with any of these statements? They sound good. Change is change. Okay, you don't want to do the same thing that you did last year. Those are all positive. But the key thing is, why do we keep doing this every single year? Because we say the same statement every single year. So is there inherently some kind of issue in there? That's what we're going to discuss today. What is that issue in there? So I want to start with the definition of goals. So the definition of goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. Now I took it a step further and I looked up the synonym for goal. And it's the ambition, intention, objective, and also target. Now, what is this? So when I read that definition to you, what does that do for you emotionally? Does that charge you up? Does that get you excited all of a sudden? Probably not. There's really nothing to it. It's a very direct, kind of bland definition. The object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result, ambition, intention, objective, target. That's all there is to it. So let's talk about some truths when it comes to goals. When we just read that definition, goals, the definition of goals does not cover your pain threshold. It doesn't talk about how much pain you're able to endure and go through in your pursuit of the goal that you're trying to achieve, does it? It doesn't touch it at all. It doesn't talk about the fears that you start to have as you're going towards that pursuit. Okay, because obviously before that pursuit of that goal, before you mention the goal, you don't have any fears. It doesn't really matter. But as soon as you say the goal and you start going towards the pursuit, then you all of a sudden know that, man, I have anxiety. I have fear over trying to achieve this goal. The definition of goals does not cover the lack of trust or belief in yourself. That definition does not touch that whatsoever. The definition is a very blanket statement, very direct statement, and that's all it covers. But these are all the underlying issues that it comes up as soon as you have that pursuit towards a goal. Now, goals are feel-good statements. Okay, when you say I have a goal to get something done by next week, and you do it, and if you do it, it feels good. You feel accomplished. But if you're used to saying that, yeah, I'm going to do this next week and never do it again, and then, you know what? I'm still here, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do it next week. You're constantly actually selling yourself. That's actually what you're starting to speak to at this current state in time. Once you all constantly are repeating a goal after a goal, it becomes just a feel-good statement. The goal loses its emphasis in the opportunity that it has for you. Goals also include unanswered feelings and emotions. Public speaking. So let's say public speaking is part of your business model. If you have a fear around public speaking, typically what people will do is do everything outside of that to not have to do public speaking. And inevitably, what does that do to that person's business if public speaking is a big portion to their business? It kills the business immediately. Okay, so these unanswered feelings and emotions that goals encompass, you have to really be careful of and be aware of. When it comes to goals, we actually train our minds and bodies on how capable we are at completing a goal. Each time we complete a goal, we train our bodies to know what it takes to get to the next goal. Every time we don't complete a goal, we train our bodies as to when it's a stopping point. Your body and your mind say, hey, you're feeling uncomfortable, you better stop. Don't do anything else more. This is the time when we stop. This is our cue. So then what happens? You automatically get sidetracked all of a sudden. Okay? Or if you're used to it, you constantly know where to go. You know your threshold. Reaching goals can also be scary and also intimidating. Now, that may sound weird, but think about it. If you actually were part of a $1 million networking group and you actually achieved that goal, how does that make you feel? It's one thing to think about it and say it and tell all your friends and family that, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in that next year. But to actually physically be part of that $1 million circle, can you actually see yourself doing that? If you can't see yourself doing it, you're scared and also intimidated at your actual being, the actual opportunity that you have. Goals typically don't carry much weight. And I'm going to go ahead and confirm those statements within these statements up underneath here. So when you tell people your goals, people typically don't believe you. We're so bombarded with goals every day with somebody telling us a goal that they have, it becomes a blanket statement like, yeah, really? Okay, yeah, I support you. That's good. That's our reaction towards people and their goals and how often we say our goals and how often we don't see each other achieve them. People have limited experience in seeing people reach goals. People can have a lot of opportunity to see their favorite movie star reach their goal, but you actually don't know their story. You just know that's your favorite movie star and that they made it. That's all you know. But in our personal sphere of influence, we don't see a lot of people just making strides and now all of a sudden they're the next millionaire. We don't have access to those people in a personal level. People have limited experience in seeing themselves reach a goal. So if you yourself have a limited experience in seeing yourself actually reaching a goal, how do you feel like somebody else? How are you going to believe somebody else? It's a perception thing. Goals are not made in the speech, but goals are not made in speech, but in the action. That's where goals are actually made. If we really believe in these statements above, goals are not made in the speech. It's all in the action. And that's where we can really, truly let ourselves know how we feel about goals. Here's some more truths. There's two ways to pursue goals. There's immediate or long term. Okay? So what I mean by that is we typically lean towards the immediate goal pursuit. It's easier to go towards a goal that within about 3 or 4 days you can complete. You can get it, you can quantify it, you know what it's going to take, you'll move things around, you get it done, and you say, guess what? I achieved my goal for this week. You feel good, you sit back, you drink your water, life is good, turn on the TV, you start again next week. We lean towards the immediate goal pursuit. The long term, there's too many unanswered questions in the long-term pursuit of goals. There's too much pain filtered in. If we take about those truths and we take about our fears and our pains and everything and all our anxiety with it, it's too long of a pursuit. What makes the goal pure and real is the pursuit. The goal itself is just words. But it's the pursuit that really makes it real and makes it tangible, and that's what is story worthy, if you will. Goals are also a choice issue. You have within goals, it doesn't matter what your goal is, there is actually a list. We don't know what that list is, but there's a list of about 10 or 12 different items that you have choices to make. So let's talk about that. So if goals are primarily an ingredient and also pursuit issue, let's talk about what that means. So every goal has a requirement, ingredients, and also pursuit. So goals require something from you, first and foremost. Secondly, it requires you to actually understand what the ingredients are within that particular goal. The pursuit is another area of how do you pursue things. When it gets tough, do you still pursue regardless? It's a pursuit issue as well. Goals require you to give up. Okay, so part of the requirements are goals require you to give up. They require you to add to. They require you to increase more. They require you to decrease. They require you to change. They require you to adjust. And they require you to make different decisions within your day-to-day. Encompasses everything. So if these are the requirements, ingredients, and the pursuit, you have to encompass all of what a goals really mean. Now, here's my proof in that. You don't hear about the lotto winner, do you? If somebody won the lotto last week, which I don't know, I haven't looked up that whole thing. But whoever won the lotto, you don't hear about that person. You don't talk about them like, man, I want to be like that person. Of course, you talk about them saying, hey, I wish I won the lotto and I was able to win the money. But that's not your goal in trying to be like that particular person and have their particular scenario. Your goal, the person that you actually talk about, the person that makes the books that you read and try to understand what their story is the person that had the hard work, the person that was consistent, the person that had perseverance. Okay, the person that woke up at 4 a.m. every single morning in order to get things done so that way, their work was all complete. That's the person that you hear about. That's where stories are made, and those are the people that you want to follow after. Now, without these ingredients, your goal typically means nothing. And I promise you this. Think about New Year's resolutioners when they go to the gym. Think about how quick that situation falls off. First month, amped up. Second month, I'm actually tired. I'm going to decrease the amount of time I'm going, right? And then the third month, what gym? Right? What am I paying this $30 a month for? I'm wasting money. That's how it happens year after year. So that's what I mean by the statement of goals mean nothing without the ingredients. Now, this statement here, goals are short-term expressions of your long-term vision. If I asked everybody here in this room, what is your long-term vision, you guys would have no problem rattling it off. I guarantee you guys know what country you're going to live in. I guarantee you guys know what beach you're going to travel to. You guys probably have it down to what you're going to eat and also drink at the same time. Okay? But your short-term expressions, this is what goals are all about, is the short term for that long-term vision. Because if we're not all genie lamps, right? Nobody is. So typically that means we have to do all these steps in between the time in order to make our long-term vision come true, which is the goals. So the truth is we need them. It's essential to our existence as people. We need goals to happen. It activates our perseverance, our willpower, our sense of purpose. It brings everything together, the reason why we're doing what we have to do. I guarantee if you had no sense of purpose as to what you're doing in your business, you wouldn't do and go through some of the things that you have to go through on a daily, regular basis. But goals and this perseverance and willpower brings that up. Goals are rarely the problem. A lot of people say, man, I just can't achieve them. It's mainly the person. It's a person-to-person issue. Goals are, again, it's a statement, but it's about that pursuit of that person that makes all these goals really come true. And we can actually truly say, I know you guys seen it on Facebook or some kind of message rolling around there, but we can truly say that failure is awesome. Failure is awesome. And the reason why I say failure is awesome is because it's our stopping point. If we never had that opportunity, if we are on a pursuit of a goal and we failed and we had something go wrong and we had to change something up, what does that failure tell you? It tells you no. That's not the right direction. It allows you to, the next time that you run into that situation, to do something actively at that moment in time. Failures are helpful in your pursuit of your goals. So it's essential to have that as part of the ingredient. Now, of course, you don't want to constantly fail. Let's not misunderstand that. But you want to know your barometer as to what you're missing, so that way you can constantly pursue your goal and stay on course. Even a person that doesn't have a goal has a goal. I've had a lot of people tell me in my pursuit of my business that, you know what, I choose not to really make goals. If it happens, it happens. Okay, well, do they have a goal? Their goal in that statement, my goal is not to make a goal. There is still a goal that's being achieved. So we're always setting up a goal somewhere, some way, shape, or form. Goals also affect your leadership ability. And as business owners, we really need to understand that. Your team needs to see this from you. They absolutely need to see this from you. Every time you're not reaching your goals, how can you tell your team, hey, let's push harder? Hey, this is our next phase. We're gonna move towards this. But if you're not reaching your goals as a leader, how can you move your team? Your clients need to see how effective you are in meeting your goals. Okay, goals are actually, hey, we're gonna deliver your product by next Monday. If you constantly have excuse and push it week after week, what does that affect? Your brand. So goals are imperative as part of your delivering process. So goals are always circling around at some given point within your process of business ownership. So I have a couple of examples, and time management is my favorite one because I hear this all the time. So in the short-term pursuit of change in time management, when we think about New Year's resolutions and saying, hey, you know what, I'm gonna change this. This is one of the things that people say I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change how much time I spend working. Okay, that's the whole statement. So this week, to start it off, I'm gonna start off with a bang. I'm gonna finish work at 6 p.m. every single night. That's the short-term pursuit of this goal. So what does that person do? So they hustle up, they get everything done, and then they just hard stop at 6 o'clock no matter what, all week long. Now what happens next week when they get called to do a little something extra, such as a networking event that lasts until 7 o'clock? Well, they go to that networking event. Okay, it's just a networking event. I'll get back on my horse the next day. And next thing you know, they're back into that same old habit. And nothing has really been hard-pressed and hardwired into their head. Now, with the long-term pursuit of a change in time management and a goal of it, in order to become more balanced in my life and not face burnout, I'm going to purposely stop my day at 6 p.m. going forward and be more diligent. That right there tells you there's a different level of accountability with that. They understand all their inherent issues that are going on with them. They're not being diligent throughout the day. That's what they're discussing in this particular goal statement. This is where long-term checks come in balance. So day to day, this person remembers, man, okay, I'm not being diligent today. That's why I'm working until 9. Let me get back on my horse and let me get things complete. This is what that does for you. So you have to figure out what are the real issues with time management. And here's a statement I want you guys to take with you is you're perfect at time management, just better the choices you make with it. So we have 24 hours, or essentially from the time that we wake up to the time we go to bed, to achieve something. But I guarantee you, and I'll say that I have done this myself, but have you guys ever, as business owners, you know you have your own schedule, went to go run an errand that took about 2 hours in the middle of the day? Yeah. We've all done it. Now, truth be told, that's the beauty of business ownership. You don't have to fight the crowds on Saturday. You don't have to drive in the craziness. You have your own schedule. But truth be told, That was your choice. You had 2 hours. Have you ever gotten gas in the middle of the day when you know that your gas light was on last night? Okay, you took about 30 minutes to, 15 to 20 minutes in order to go get gas and get all that sorted out. So you have the time, we have it. It's just our choices that we make with it, as I was alluding to earlier. So what about increasing sales? Okay, this is always a business owner's goals. I want to increase my sales. So my goal is to have 30 sales every month in the Q1. The problem with this particular business owner is they have a hard time making 30 sales a year. But all of a sudden, what we do as business owners, okay, this is the new year. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to be better than I was all year long last year, and I'm just going to start making 30 sales a month. Okay, you had an issue making 30 sales all year, but all of a sudden you're going to make this great leap. Whereas this goal statement number 2, what I'm going to do is actively work on my closing ratio, my consistency and listening ability to increase my sales over the year. This person is giving themselves a chance to move through, to work on their consistency issues, to work on their closing ratio. They understand their particular issues, so the goal becomes tangible and becomes real, and it becomes active. Okay? Because typically we set goals so high without thought to them that the opportunity to really achieve them is not there. And that takes away our ability as business owners to trust in ourselves. Here's another big one. When it comes to goals, change, change, change. It sounds like a very easy word, okay? I think we all have changed something. But typically as business owners, just as people in general, we change enough to get comfortable. That's about as far as change works for us. We change enough to get comfortable again. Some of your goals and intentions that you have in life and within your business require dramatic 360-degree change. But if you have a bad association with change, if you don't want to change, whatever your issue is when it comes to whatever your relationship is when it comes to change, it will stop you by itself. And that's part of you seeing yourself and accepting that you do value yourself enough to be in that $1 million circle, if that's where your pursuit is. And that's something that we as business owners really need to really encompass when it thinks. So it's not only just thinking about goals. Goals is not the issue. It's what's behind goals and what the pursuit is towards the goals. And that's why I want to make sure that we start off this series with. And next series, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about resolutions. We're going to talk about the real McCoy. Because we put so much emphasis on goals. Because we don't talk about these are my New Year's goals. We say New Year's resolutions, don't we? So with that being said, we're going to put some impact around how goals and also resolutions meet each other. And how to become more resolution-minded versus just goal-minded. So in the meantime, what I'd like for you guys to do is follow us here on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and also Instagram under Executive Talk. And keep on following the conversation. Next week, we're going to have some questions that we're going to pose on our Facebook fan page. So if you guys like to chime in, we're going to actually bring up some of your responses here on our show next week to talk about them and see what people are talking about and see how we can help you get through your goals and resolutions going into 2016. But in the meantime, I got to get back to work. Thank you very much.
Okay.